Hey friends, before we get started, I wanted to let you guys know about our Seeds of Hope campaign that we are running right now. Seeds of Hope is just such a great way to show support and love for either yourself or a friend or family member who is going through a cancer diagnosis, or surprise mom because Mother's Day is coming up and you want to send her some seeds. So this year, if you donate $65 to survivingbreastcancer.org, we will send you a beautifully curated package of seeds. You can find out more about the program at survivingbreastcancer.org/seeds of hope. So check it out. Thank you so much. Hello, and welcome to Breast Cancer Conversations, a podcast brought to you by survivingbreastcancer.org. I'm Laura Carfing, breast cancer survivor and founder of survivingbreastcancer.org, a nonprofit organization providing community, education, and resources to empower those diagnosed with breast cancer and their caregivers from day one and beyond. Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Breast Cancer Conversations. Thank you for tuning in today. This is part of our series where we're talking about all things Verzenio. Today, I am joined by the incredible Virginia out of California. She's going to share her amazing, incredible story, not only being diagnosed de novo metastatic, but also her experience on her first line of treatment with Verzenio. Welcome to the conversation.
I'm Virginia, and I live in San Diego County, Carlsbad, which is a city in San Diego County and near the beach and hiking trails. So it's a great place to live with great weather. And I was diagnosed stage 4 breast cancer de novo in August 2024. Because I had brain mets, my oncologist put me immediately on Verzenio, and I've been on Verzenio ever since. So I'm very happy that I'm still in my first line of treatment and tolerating Verzenio well.
How did you find out about your diagnosis, being diagnosed de novo? And for our listeners, de novo just refers to being diagnosed without any early stage diagnosis prior to. So immediately finding out that you have breast cancer, stage 4 metastatic.
I have lobular breast cancer, so dense breasts, and it didn't show up on mammograms. I was taken to asked my daughter to take me to the emergency room because I was very weak. I had been getting progressively weaker. Just the year previously, I did the pilgrimage on the Camino de Santiago in Portugal and Spain. And
All right, we have so much to talk about, by the way. I'm so excited for this conversation. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So I went with one of my best friends, Stacy, and we hiked, let's see, about 150 miles in 10 days with packs, but a day packs, light pack. They're kind of light. They had lots of bottles of water in there and snacks and rain gear, but not everything. Yeah. So I was used to, I live in a gorgeous place with lots of trails. So I was used to walking and hiking many miles every day. And then I just kept getting progressively weaker and having a really hard time even going around the block. And I didn't know what was happening. I kept going to the doctor.
Weak as in like tired, fatigue, just not feeling strong. Like, can you just describe a little bit more, like how was weakness showing up for you?
It was showing up. So like I said, even on the Camino and in my hikes, I could take a hill, a very steep hill, and not be out of breath. And I live on the second floor up a steep flight of stairs. So even coming up the stairs, I would be huffing and puffing and feeling so tired. There were days I felt like I just couldn't get out of bed. I was having a lot of digestion problems. And so whenever I would go to the doctor, they would ask me, are you throwing up? Are you losing weight without trying? And with no and no fevers, no one ever thought to look for cancer.
And you're probably not thinking cancer either. You're just going to the doctor. You're like, here are my symptoms. Help me.
When I went to the emergency room, I was standing there trying to check in, and they had to bring a wheelchair for me because I couldn't stand. And I was malnourished and dehydrated and had this whole team all of a sudden, like they just put me in a private room. I got so lucky because I was there for a week, and I got put in a private room and they did all the tests, and they said they did tell me that they found cancer. 3 days previous to that, I had gone to a gastroenterologist. I finally got referred, and I had waited, I don't know how many months to see this gastroenterologist, maybe 6 months, something crazy like that. And I go into her office and I said, every time I eat, it's just going right through me, not throwing up, the other way. And I don't know what's going on and I need help. And she said, okay, well, we're going to give you a colonoscopy and we'll schedule it into 6 months from now. And I just started crying. And I said, I need help. And she said, okay, I'll prescribe you pain pills. And I left there so, I mean, I'm an optimistic person, but I just felt defeated, deflated, just like, what is happening here? And I went to bed and didn't get up until I said, okay, take me to the emergency room. We have to get to the bottom of this. And I never did get those pain pills, but I did tell my GP that I told her about it and she took her off her referral list. Yeah, so I had been really trying to figure it out. And then now I had this whole team that was taking care of me. And that felt great because they're like, we're going to get to the bottom of this. Yes. And so when I received my cancer diagnosis, I just remember very clearly going, okay, now we can make a plan. So it wasn't like, oh, it's horrible, I have cancer. It's like, oh, I have an answer and there's a plan. I know there's a plan. And then I got very lucky because the oncologist in the hospital, they don't give you a time and a date when you're going to see someone. So they said the oncologist would come talk to me. And he happened to come in when my mom, my best friend Stacy, my daughter, and my sister-in-law were all in the hospital with me, in my room with me. And he comes in and he's this vivacious, oozing with charm Spaniard. And he said, you're young and you're healthy and we've made so many improvements in cancer. And I really feel like you have a good 10 years of quality life, which since then, no other oncologist will go near that. And so, but all of us, our nervous systems just went shh. And it was just like the best thing that we could hear because I did look horrible and I felt horrible. And that really gave us the hope that we could, that I could, you know, that I wasn't dying in that moment, that there was more life left.
So I wanted to ask though too, how did we go from finding out you had cancer and it metastasized to your brain to being able to pinpoint that it was related to breast cancer?
They took a biopsy
Okay.
because they didn't know
They didn't
if
know.
it
So
was
that's
breast
okay.
cancer.
And that happened during that time that
Yes,
you were admitted into
in the hospital. Yeah. And they told me where the cancer had spread. So spinal cord, spleen, liver, brain, other places in my bones. Yeah. So it spread pretty extensively. But he also told me, the oncologist said it's a slow growing cancer. And he really, talked up the advancements. And he said, you're not going to have to, he said, there's no operation. And you're not going to have chemo infusions. We're going to put you on this chemo pill. And he told me Verzenio because it and I mean, I'm not a scientist, so, but from what I remember him saying, it goes through the blood-brain barrier and like that Verzenio would be the best case for me because they were very worried about the mets in my brain and my spinal cord.
Yes. How often are you taking Verzenio?
Twice a day, every 12 hours. My alarm goes off on my phone. Everyone knows who's around me. That's her her meds alarm. I don't take it with food. I take it in the morning and at night. So 8:30 a.m. and 8:30 p.m.
When you found out that you were going to be on Verzenio, what type of research did you do? Did you have these like in-depth conversations with your care team?
Yes. So the first oncologist, he was really the best about laying everything out and the most optimistic. Now I have a different oncologist now, and they're just very tight-lipped about a lot of things. And I think that's more normal. But he said, I'm so grateful for him. He was like an angel. So he said that I will be in treatment for the rest of my life. He said the cancer will get smarter, will outsmart the treatment plan. And then he said, but there's other treatment plans. So then I'll go to the next one. I'll see how I tolerate that. And the next one until they say this is the end of the line. So that's how it was explained to me. He didn't really talk about side effects, and I didn't ask. So this is very unusual for me. But at this point, having gone to doctor after doctor after doctor and not getting any relief, I was so ready. I was in surrender immediately.
We have a diagnosis, we have a plan, we have a drug, like sign me up.
And I have a whole team of people now instead
Yeah.
of like just, oh, I don't know what this is. Bye. I have a whole team of people helping me and wonderful, wonderful people. I did get a second opinion from another oncologist at a hospital that's like the number one in this area. And that's the only reason I switched because the research hospital, it's the top one. It's really ranked high in even the whole country. And so I went there for that. And my second oncologist said, I think I'm going to switch you to a different, even though I was tolerating the Verzenio. And I said, okay. And then she came back and she said, nope, you need to stay on the Verzenio because we really want to see what we could do with those brain mets.
And at first, how were you responding to the Verzenio?
So my side effects at first for Verzenio, I started on the highest dosage, which is what they do. And I had a lot of, we couldn't tell if it was bone pain from the cancer or from the Verzenio, which that's one of the side effects. But I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't walk very well. I started needing assistance walking. It was very dehydrating. So then there's the side effects from dehydration. I really started honing in on the dehydration part because I am in a metastatic breast cancer support group. We meet twice a month online. And another woman had already been on Verzenio for a year or two before me. And she had to go to the emergency room 2 or 3 times because of dehydration. So that's when I went to my doctor, my oncologist, and said, I think some of what's happening is dehydration. Can you prescribe weekly hydration? Because that's what she was prescribed after having to go to the emergency room 3 times. And I didn't want to do that. So
Can you explain what the process is like to receive weekly infusions for hydration?
I go to the same infusion room with the other cancer patients who are getting chemo, and I just get hydration. And I'm still doing that weekly because and this is what she said too, even with drinking water, electrolytes, there's still the dehydration issues. So that's really helped for me. Because the side effects were pretty intense for me. We went down to 100 and then we went down to 50. And she said the efficacy is the same. So I've been at 50 for a long time now. And my scans have been my MRIs and scans. I get bone scans, CT scans, MRIs. So far, they've been showing stable to improved. And my last brain MRI, they said that they did not see the meds anymore.
Holy cow, that is incredible. Oh my God, I am so happy for you.
Me too. I'm just starting to get active again because it took a good year of feeling horrible. And then I'm just now getting more active and walking more and starting to do weight training. And I hardly have any side effects now, except, the dehydration, but that's easily addressed.
So you're having this incredible response to Verzenio. What is your cadence like now for scans and seeing your oncology team?
I get scans quarterly. After they kept coming up stable to improved, now I see my oncologist every couple months. So next month I have CT scan and bone scan and 2 MRIs. So we'll see how everything's doing. That's a big one. And, I'm trying not to get scanxiety. And, but still at the back of my mind is if it isn't stable to improved, then they're going to want to put me on something else. And I don't know how I'm going to respond to that because I still remember the highest dose of Verzenio being difficult for me. But, also just the other side is like, okay, you have so many options. You're still on your first line of treatment. This is great.
Yes, absolutely. I totally understand how the mind races for, protecting ourselves with all of the like what ifs and scenario planning, but then also trying to be present in the moment. This has been an incredible conversation. Verzenio, thank you so much for sharing your experience with me, with our listeners. I know this just gives so much hope. And when someone's starting a new treatment or has questions about Verzenio, this has just been really helpful to be able to hear your personal lived experience on the drug. I wish you all the best next month as you're heading into all of these scans, and we'll be in touch. I really appreciate you sharing your story with all of us. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Laura. I appreciate you.
And thank you, everyone, for listening to our show. I would like to acknowledge that all of the information on our podcast is from personal experiences and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always contact your medical care team. If you are looking for specific topics or would like to be a guest on our show, please feel free to reach out. My email is laura@survivingbreastcancer.org. Our show is made possible by our nonprofit, survivingbreastcancer.org, and by our incredible donors like yourself. You can hop on over to survivingbreastcancer.org to sign up for our mailing list, make a donation, and explore the 400 plus programs we offer each year at survivingbreastcancer.org/events. Until next time, keep on thriving.